What it do? What it do? I got my man Ray was on mute. You're listening. You're listening to the Urban Sports Scene and Bowie TV Ravens pregame show. The Baltimore Ravens are back home and are looking to bounce back after a tough loss to the Browns as they face the Denver Broncos. I'm Wole. I'm joined by my homie Ray Jeezy. What's going on, Ray?
What's up, brother? The Ravens never hit the panic button, it seems like, but they lose unexpectedly. I expect an animal today, brother.
Yeah, I expect a beast mode,
Derrick Henry,
a performance,
a whole
dude.
lot of Derrick Henry.
I think so. A lot. I feel like the Broncos. We'll get into it, but I feel like the Broncos will feel the pain of what happened last week. You know what I mean? For real. I ain't gonna hold you. But real quick, make sure you subscribe to our Urban Sports City podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Make sure you subscribe to the Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel. Hit the red subscribe button and like this video. This show is being streamed on Bowie TV's YouTube channel as well. Also, join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right, here's the rundown. We'll chat with Bowie TV's Ravens beat reporter Carita Parks. We'll talk about the debut of Ravens wide receiver Deontay Johnson. We'll also talk about the keys for Ravens victory and provide our predictions. Then finally, we'll select our Ravens fantasy football selection for the day. But right now, we have founder of Double Take Sports and Bowie TV's Ravens beat reporter Carita Parks on the show. She's reporting live from M&T Bank Stadium. So let me add her in the queue real quick.
Lou, what's good, Lou?
Oh, Lou are in the building?
He is in the building.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? Carita, I gotta get you looking right though on this setup first. There we go. Hold on. Here you go. We got a 3-person shot. Here we go. Now I feel better.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Hey, what's going on, Carita?
Hello there.
What is good? What's good? See, Ray, like you said, it's a special show. Ray's here in the building, so you know it's special.
Always special with Ray. With Ray is here.
I pulled up for Carita, no doubt.
You sure did. They're gonna hold you.
Thank you, Ray.
I'm gonna own that because we discussed this. I'm like, man, Ray, you need to get some rest. He said, I promise, Carita, I'll be on, and I'm here. And he's here, so you know what time it is. So, Carita, let's get into it real quick. What are some of the notable inactives and actives for the Ravens today?
Yeah, so on the inactive list, what stood out to me was Eddie Jackson is inactive.
Oh, wow. Okay.
After having a bad week last week, he wasn't on the injury report. So, yeah, that sticks out to me. That's a very interesting move that they made there. And then other than that, Brent Urban, defensive end, he got hurt last week with a concussion. So it's not surprising that he's out, but it is something just to watch because he's on the defense. He is a strong piece. And then other than that, I would say most of these inactives are fairly kind of similar to what they've been this past week, except for Jalen Armour-Davis. He's another cornerback that he played last week, but he's inactive this week. So it's interesting there. They made some changes in the secondary.
So, and it's wild because I like the signing of Eddie Jackson coming to the Ravens. I like them in Chicago. Some work he did in Chicago.
Yeah,
so it's crazy. Like it's interesting. The secondary has been a problem, but I don't. It's been other. I just feel like it's been a lot of people.
Oh yeah. He just stuck out in particular last week.
Sure did. Ray, you wanted to ask something? I want to.
Oh, nah, I was just saying when we came on, Carita, that the Ravens never really seemed to hit the panic button. However, Lamar, he's resting this week at times, I saw, because a little banged up, which is expected for any football team at this time of the season. However, when you add a new receiver and a new weapon for Lamar, you will hope that they will be able to develop some continuity. I know we're going to get there, but what do you get what are you feeling as far as the vibe in the building right now, coming off that loss? Because me and Wole expect them to come out real today because they don't lose twice in a row, typically.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, they don't like losing, first of all, especially when they know it's a game that they should have won. And then, last week in talking to Nami Madubuike, he was saying, we all know who the better team is, but they just didn't execute. So they don't take losing lightly. And I think as far as the vibe is concerned, I don't feel like it was necessarily different just because week to week they have that same level of concentration. But I do expect, just knowing this team, knowing the guys and what they talked about this week, especially that defense, I do think that they will come back out this week and have a different level of intensity than they did last week against the Browns.
Carita, what are some of the threats that the Broncos are 5-3, just like the Ravens, starting a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix, so they've been playing better football of late. But what are some of the things that kind of, as a person who covers the Ravens, and when you look at this Broncos team, what are some of the things that kind of you look at it like, all right, this can give the Ravens problems?
I would say their defense. The Broncos, if I remember correctly, like they're third in the league defensively, so they have a really, really good defense. And Lamar Jackson's been exceptionally great against the blitz, but with this offensive line, they played a whole lot better over the past couple of weeks. But when you're dealing with a really good defense, sometimes with this offensive line still being kind of young, they do allow other defenses to get to Lamar sometimes. And once you get to Lamar, that kind of, throws him off, especially because he was resting this past week because of back and knee. So we don't know how good he's feeling right now. He said he's 100%, but, you don't want him to get banged up out there dealing with the Broncos defense. So from my perspective, it's definitely the Broncos defense that could cause a problem. And I mean, to Bo Nix's credit, he's been playing pretty well over the past few weeks. And if this defense doesn't get themselves together, well, the secondary in particular, but I'm going to say the defensive line too, because they didn't get a lot of pressure on Jameis last week.
Yeah.
So, if the defense don't get themselves together, it's not that the Broncos offense is that much better than the Ravens defense at all, but, they could capitalize on that.
No, I do agree that defense for the Broncos is tough. You got Patrick Surtain, who's one of the best cornerbacks in football. So it's going to be interesting to see how that chess match between him and Lamar, because obviously he's a guy that typically locks down one side of the football field. So just to see that chess match between the two. But Ray mentioned Deontay Johnson, a new weapon. It's a guy that was a former Pro Bowler with the Pittsburgh Steelers at a time. So he's a guy who's has a lot of ability. He's new to the team, so he's got to get new to the system. So first off, how much burn do you expect him to have today for the Ravens?
I don't expect it to be a lot. I don't, I do expect to probably see him, and the question will be, where will we see him the most? They had him doing some special teams reps because he's been a special teams player before. So I don't know if they'll kind of start him off there. I could definitely see him being worked into the wide receiver rotation more, like I said on the post-game show last week, more so where Nelson Aguilar is. I feel like those two will probably end up rotating, but I think they kind of have to ease them into the system because Lamar did miss 2 days of practice last week. And so I don't think that they're going to disrupt the continuity that they've been able to build over the next few weeks that quickly, but they traded for him for a reason. So I definitely think we're going to see him.
What are some of your expectations for him today? What do you think he can do? Do you think he's going to have a touchdown? He's going to do something?
I mean, he could. It's just hard for me to say right now because he practiced last week, but even in talking with the offense, and they're excited to have him. But even Derrick Henry was like, we got to see what he can do. He kind of just got here. So it's very hard for me to say right now if I think he's going to have a touchdown or not. It's possible, but I just also don't know if he's going to be worked into the rotation that much yet. So they could be playing it coy, but just like what I have picked up this week, it sounds like they're still kind of trying to get to know like how he fits. But they all know that he's another guy who can get separation.
Definitely.
So they're definitely excited about that.
King David on X said, let me know, Raven Flock. He said, I could see Johnson being a slot merchant, 3 grabs, 50 yards, and a touchdown. And my man, two blokes watching sports says he's going to get a touchdown. He believes that Deontay Johnson will get a touchdown. Appreciate y'all for tuning in too as well. Dan Royal said, Ojabo is a waste. He's Nigerian. Go ahead, chill out, man. That's my guy.
He's on the inactive list this week. So, I mean, that's also interesting because this is his second week being inactive. So, I mean, right now it seems like they feel like they're getting more production out of Ngakwe. And I can understand why there would be some frustration because Ojabo has been hurt for the past few seasons. And so now you have him on the inactive list. So I can see some of the frustration there.
Yeah, both Nigerians, so it's all good. Go ahead.
I knew you was going to go there, bro. Speaking of frustration, Carita, remember during the week we kind of spoke about Ravens fans, how they are hot and cold on Harbaugh. Who do you give the coaching edge to today? Because Sean Payton, of course, is known as kind of like an offensive genius. And he's got a rookie quarterback, but you mentioned he's got him playing well, better than Russ last year.
That's a very good question. Don't
get in trouble.
No, I'm not. I'm really trying to think about it because I do know what you're saying. Well, I'm gonna say the only reason I'm gonna say Sean Payton is because just knowing Sean Payton just is I don't really like him very much.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't either.
If I'm keeping it real, but those kind of people do. He ran the score up on the Panthers last week, so I feel like he's the type of guy that'll do absolutely anything to win. And not to say John Harbaugh doesn't. I just feel like John Harbaugh has a little bit more of a moral compass than Sean Payton. So that's the only reason I would say. That's the only reason I would say that.
Yeah,
basically, I feel like the Broncos are probably in a little bit more of a desperate position. So I can see him trying to pull everything out of the bag to try to win. I don't think Harbaugh has to do that.
Do you feel like them? Like it's crazy because you say they're more desperate. I kind of feel like after having that game against the Browns, and we all talked about how the Browns were that's the best version of the Browns, but still, in terms of the outside opinion, it's like you let that game go. Like people look at that game as you should have won that game, right? The Ravens are now going into this game probably a little bit more focused, right? Because now it's like, hey, we probably to some of y'all we didn't do our job against the Browns, but hey, we're not gonna have these back-to-back shortcomings. We're gonna show y'all the real Ravens team this Sunday. Today, excuse me.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot more focus because, like I said, yes, they got a better version of the Browns, but that's still a team that they shouldn't beat.
Exactly.
And they know that. And so they're going to be coming out here trying to prove a point for sure.
Yeah. Totally.
And they're home, which is always, for any team that just brings a different kind of vibe.
No, I totally agree. So, Carita, what are some of your keys for a Ravens victory today? I was about to slip up.
I know what you was about to say.
Don't mention the C word.
That's
next.
Stopped. That's next, Role.
Yes, next. I know. She right.
Definitely, I would say the defense. There was a lot of missed opportunities last week. They got to come out. Particularly, everybody has to have a different level of focus this week, but they, in particular, I feel like they need to redeem themselves, especially that secondary. Now, to give the DBs credit, they were staying after this week in practice and working on the jugs machine. So, they know that they need to come out here and have a much better performance than they did last week. Because, truth be told, get like a few of those turnovers last week, that would have made a difference, huge difference in the game. And I feel like that you're going against a rookie quarterback, so you can try to exploit him, and that's what they need to do. Offensively, I just think that they need to get off to a fast start. When they did not score, they went for it on 4th and down, which is why they didn't score on their opening drive. But when they didn't score, I just didn't feel too good about that. The Ravens, they need to score on their opening drive, come out fast, and then also just have that continuity that they've been having over the past few weeks. Last week, they just didn't seem like they were clicking in the same way that they have been in those 5 games that they won. So they need to get back on the same page. And I think if they can, and then get the run game going more this week, because they did have a hard time against the Browns getting the run game going. I think we said Derrick Henry only had 70-something yards, if I remember.
Yeah, like 11 carries, like only 11 carries or something. Yeah.
Something like that. But it was way under the games that they have won. So they need to get him back to over 20 carries at least, because when he has over 20 carries, that's when they've been winning games.
So you see that? You see them utilizing Derrick Henry more this game?
I think so, yeah, for sure.
No, I agree with you. I do think that's the big key. I think this should be the game, especially since we talked about Patrick Surtain and this Broncos defense. The secondary seems to be one of the strengths. I would definitely lean on Derrick Henry a little bit more. I think this is the game where we talk about it's hard to kind of decipher which game is a Lamar game and which game is a Derrick Henry game. But I kind of think like this game is like the Derrick Henry game. This is the game you lean on him to kind of
And
bring it
also,
home.
like with Lamar resting this week, I can see them leaning a little more on Derrick Henry for that reason too.
Good point. Very good point.
Because they do play on Thursday, to be fair. Like they have the game Sunday, and then they play on Thursday.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, that's
and the Bengals at that.
A division game. That's true. That's facts. So, all right, give me your prediction. What you got?
So, I mean, just like we've been saying, I think that the Ravens are going to come out with a different level of focus. I think we're going to see a lot better product this week. I'm going to say they go over. I'm going to say 35-17. That's where
I like that score. I like that. Ray,
what
you got?
They got to get over 30 usually.
Yeah, I'm with you on over 30. Ray, what you got?
Yeah, see, I'm kind of with y'all because the Ravens are so interesting this season. This is not your typical Ravens where if they get a lead, they maintain it or they keep it. So I expect it to be high scoring as well. I'm thinking somewhere around 37-34, maybe overtime, because that's just how the Ravens play. The Bengals game. Every game is the Dallas game. Every game is, to me, it comes down to
do you know
the fourth quarter and those late game adjustments that they have to make typically in order to make sure they close it out.
It would have to, for the Broncos to win, it would have to be a low scoring game. The Broncos got the 25th best offense and the 25th offense in the NFL. At least I'll say this much: at least the teams the Ravens have given up points against, them offenses are decent. Like the Broncos offense is not.
That was my initial thought too, but again, it's not your typical Ray. I didn't think the Broncos.
It's not. No, I agree with you. I feel like the Broncos, even on a bad defense, can't score 30 for real. Like, and especially I feel like it's almost like I'll say this much: the Ravens offense will dictate the Broncos offense. So the Ravens, if the Broncos defense can't really stop the Ravens offense, the Broncos offense won't score because now you're putting Bo Nix in a situation where he has to win a game. He's not there yet. He's not there. The defense is the third best defense, and you've seen the scores. Like you've seen the scores. Like their defense for the majority of the season is low. Like the scores are low, and like other than this New Orleans Saints game where the Saints have no offense because they have a rookie quarterback or whatever. So I just feel like this game it's gonna be tough. Like I feel like the Ravens, because I feel like losing to the Browns really messed up the Broncos. The Ravens losing to the Browns really messed up the Broncos. It's like the wrong game to follow up. It's the wrong game. Like if the Ravens are on a high going into this game, I'm kind of with you. I feel like maybe
they sleep.
Yeah, but I feel like now the focus is different. The focus is so different now. You don't want to go 5-4. You don't want to go 5-4 going into the Bengals game like Carita's talking about. Like you want to be 6-3 going to that game with some confidence, knowing that you got a Thursday night game.
I would agree because that's gonna be a tough turnaround.
Yeah,
and the Broncos always play. Yeah. The Bengals always play them close. That's a division matchup. They know them very well. So they really got to be. But hopefully, they're not thinking ahead to that game. I haven't heard anybody say that, but I'm just saying.
No, I kind of think they're not because they lost to the Browns. Because you got to now focus. The focus is different now. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure they were looking at the Browns game. To your point, initially, were like, yeah, it's going to be different, but we still should win this game. You know what I mean? There is still that feel. But now you lost that game, and now you're looking at this game like, oh, this is I think in the locker room, they feel like it's a must-win. I don't put it like that's how I look at it in their locker room.
They should.
Yeah.
They should be looking at it like that.
Yeah. I kind of feel like they have that type of aggression. So, Carita, like, give me it's our fancy portion of the show. Who do you feel like is going to be that fantasy baller for the day for the Baltimore Ravens?
So I'm going to go a different direction this week, actually. And I'm going to choose Kyle Hamilton. And let me tell you why. Because, first of all, he was playing lights out last week. And I know, just knowing how he is, he had that game-winning interception in his hands and dropped it. So I feel like we're going to see him play lights out today and be all over the field. That's what I'm going with.
Kyle Hamilton. Okay, we can go with that. I'm down with that. That means if you got the Baltimore Ravens defense, that means y'all got to get that defense because she's talking about Kyle Hamilton going to make plays. And you watch Kyle Hamilton in Notre Dame, his playmaking abilities like getting touchdowns at the same time. So, Ray, who would be your fantasy player for the Ravens today?
Oh man, see, I can't go defense to be honest because if Sean Payton is who we say he is, then he might exploit some of these weaknesses that the Ravens have presented this season on defense so far. So I'm gonna go with old faithful Derrick Henry because, like you said, if they come in this game pissed off, that's who you want to ride. You want to ride Derrick Henry, who is showing that he ain't slowing down no time soon.
So I am going to go with because you got Patrick Surtain, so I'm not going to go with Zay Flowers. I feel like I'm going with Zay Flowers most of the time. So I'm going to go with, you know what? I may go with a newbie. I probably will. No, I'm going to go Deontay Johnson. I'm going to go with a newbie. I think like the newbie may get like a couple big plays because he'll be a guy that now you have a three-headed monster, him, Bateman, and Zay. So you're going to have Zay Flowers. So you're going to have to choose that weaker corner. It's going to have to be on one of those players. So if I had to choose between those two, I would go ahead. Go ahead, Carita.
No, what you were saying, that's what I do like about the addition of Deontay Johnson because if this was a week where they didn't have Deontay Johnson in the midst, like you said, they're probably more than likely going to have Patrick Surtain on Zay Flowers. And Bateman, he's good, but now you have like someone else that's a threat.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. So I just feel like, because for this matchup, I think that there'll be some mismatches in the secondary. And also, the tight ends. We can always pick the tight ends if we wanted to, but I'm gonna go that route. Hey, so Carita, thanks for being on. Before we let you go, man, how can folks catch you on social media? How can they catch your content? Put it all out there.
You can catch my Ravens content on Bowie TV Sports. It's at Bowie TV Sports on all platforms. You can follow me, Carita C. Parks, on all platforms at Carita C. Parks, like you see it up there. And then, always follow Double Take Sports for additional sports coverage. That's at DBL Take Sports on all platforms.
Hey, Carita, thanks for being on. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll have you on the recap. You already know what time it is, and we'll talk about that. But take care,
right.
Okay?
Bye, y'all. Be
good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Somebody just came on and said, yo, dang, man.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, my man?
Ray, you part of Ravens flock, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're getting ready to do it, we think. It might be close, it might not, because if what Wole is predicting is true, which is very likely.
I don't think it's going to be close.
No pun intended, it's very likely. Then, yeah, I don't know. I can't predict how this Ravens team is going to come out, although we don't expect them to come out sleepwalking because of what happened last week in Cleveland.
We definitely don't. You're about to knock the show up. But make sure you tune into our Ravens recap show Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Let's go.
It'll be our YouTube. It'll be on our YouTube, IG, and Facebook Live. This will also be streaming on the Bowie TV's YouTube channel as well. Someone said blowout. Oh yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah.
Definitely with that. And also subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Also follow us on X at Urban Sports Scene, IG at Urban Sports Scene, and also on TikTok at Urban Sports Scene. And also like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Again, if you're on YouTube and you're on our YouTube channel right now, and this is the first time you've been on our YouTube channel, hit that red subscribe button. Also like this video. And also you can check out our podcast on our website, which is at www.urbansportscene.com. All right, man. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Scene for ages. You dig? Deuces. We are out.
Peace.